Call to order, please. Invocation by Ms. Nanette Cook and pledge by Mr. Andy Nakane.
Thank you, Chairman. I have a Thanksgiving prayer today. Today we give thanks for our many blessings as we pray for those in need. We give thanks for our family and friends as we pray for those who are lonely. We give thanks for our freedoms as we pray for those who are oppressed. We give thanks for our good health as we pray for those who are ill. We give thanks for our comfort and prosperity as we share our blessings with others. In this season of Thanksgiving, may the love of God enfold us, the peace of God dwell within us, and the joy of God uplift us. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Cook and Mr. Nakane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We welcome you to the Lafayette City Council meeting. As presiding officer and chair, I would like to announce the following. This is a public hearing. To address the council on any item on this agenda, please fill out the speaker form and submit it to the clerk prior to the call of the agenda item, or you will not be given the opportunity to speak. Staff assistant is available if needed. Items for submission to the council should be handed to the council clerk, Ms. Veronica Williams, seated to my left in the middle. When addressing the council, state your name and title of the official record. The 3-minute rule will be in effect. No debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. The front row to my left is for media only. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium. Please silence all phones and electronic devices. Meeting procedures are by resolutions and not by Robert Rules of Order. All documents with reference to meetings can be found on the LCG website. And finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards or commissions. If interested, call 337-291-8800. That is 291-8800. Chair now. Council member Hebert is unable to attend due to a works conflict. Councilman Lazar is also unable to attend. Item number 5, recognition of Wilford Pierre is being deferred till December 2nd by the author, as Mr. Wilford Pierre is unable to attend. Item number 6, CR-038-2020 is being deferred to December 16th per request of the chair after consulting with the developer. Item number 12, JR-042-2020 has a proposed amendment to remove property number 7, 117 Clinton Street from the applicable properties, update and back up accordingly. Due to election day requirements, the council meetings for November and December are on the first and the third Wednesday of each month instead of the typical first and third Tuesday. The chair do not have any announcement at this moment. Any council member announcement?
I just wanted to wish everybody a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving, and thank you all for y'all's continued service to the city. All these citizens here that participate, vote, pay their taxes. Y'all really do the whole community of service, and thank you very much. And y'all have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nakane. I also like to remind everyone, voting starts on this Friday, October 20th, for early voting. So I just want you guys to have a note of that, starting this Friday. And you cannot vote on Thanksgiving Day and also the day after, but it will resume on the following Saturday. So I'd like you guys to be aware of that. You have something? Good. Okay. Mr. President, Mayor President, do you have any report?
When I call your name, if you could, please come forward. Mr. Zachary Landry. Is he available? Is he here? Oh, he might not be. Philip Glover. Hey, up. If you could come up, please. Yes. Philip. Mr. Landry? Oh, good. Uh-oh, so we need to wait? Well, I'll recognize because it's my, out of respect to the council and the rules, I will call their names. These gentlemen have received a letter of commendation, and really, it's universal for all 6 of these guys, but it's for valor, dedication, and service above and beyond the call of duty to the citizens of Lafayette, Louisiana, and specifically, it was in their efforts to rescue a pet dog here recently under very trying times. So we do appreciate their service. So I'll just call their names, and then we can coordinate a picture and all that good stuff later and respect the council and their rules. So Mr. Zachary Landry, Mr. Philip Glover, Keithan Broussard, Eugene Broussard, Alvin Duyon, and Cheryl Randall. So I know they're not here, but if we could give them a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. And we do have Chief Benoit, so actually he can give a lot more specifics. Our fire chief, who I'm blessed to serve with. If you could, Chief, just give us maybe some details on these acts of heroism.
We're going to do something a little bit different with them later on, being that they probably got the wrong time. But just to give you an idea of what transpired is on last Friday morning, the Lafayette Fire Department responded to a structure fire in Lafayette. About 9:53 a.m. was at the time we got the call. So en route to the call, the structure was burning. Got there, we extinguished the flames. And after extinguishing the flames, doing the initial investigation and determine the cause of the fire, we learned that 6 LUS employees were working across the street from this structure and saw that it was burning, attempted to cross the street, helped the victim that was in the house with her pet dog, and were able to escort them out of the burning structure. In addition to that, they used some fire extinguishers to move the window unit where they saw flames coming out of that particular area to try and control the fire. And in so doing that, what they were able to do was they were able to control the flames and keep that fire on that particular property, which gave us the ability to be able to get there and do an effective job of extinguishing the structure and keeping everything on that particular area without spreading it. One of the mottos in the Lafayette Fire Department is to save life and property. And so when I got the information that these 6 individuals went above and beyond the call of duty to risk their own lives to save someone else's life, their pet, and their home, we felt that it was honorable for us to give them a letter of commendation for their efforts. And so we decided that we would recognize them tonight for those efforts in a letter of commendation, recognizing them to you, the public, the citizens, that these are LCG employees that went above and beyond the call to help someone else in need. And so that's what we're doing tonight through the Mayor President's office, of recognizing them, through the council recognizing them, and allowing the public to see that there are some people in Lafayette who care about other people and will risk their lives to save others. And that's what we're doing here tonight.
So, Mr. Chair and council members and our neighbors, just times like this remind us of what a great community that we live in. Our first responders, firefighters, police officers, our deputy marshals, deputy sheriffs, our healthcare workers who put their lives on the line every single day to fight this invisible enemy, COVID-19. And our LUS workers. So to all of our heroes out there in Lafayette, just know how much we love you and how much we appreciate you and we're praying for you. So thank you, and thank you, Chief, for giving a way better description than I did. But I appreciate that. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Ceremony presentation, that is deferred until the December 2nd. So let's move along. Okay. Resolution. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Number 6 is deferred until December 16th. Jeremy, please read item number 7.
City Resolution 40, 2020, a resolution of the Lafayette City Council authorizing the submission of an application with the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement for a 2020 Victims of Crime Act grant for the Lafayette Police Department.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Lynette Cook. Any council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Let's call for the vote, please, to adopt this resolution.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yeah.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. City Resolution 41, 2020, a resolution of the Lafayette City Council authorizing the submission of an application with the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement for a 2020 Stop Violence Against Women Act grant for the Lafayette Police Department.
Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Andy Nakane. Council discussion? I see there's none. Public comments?
No, sir.
Let's call for a vote to adopt this resolution.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Joint resolution. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read item number 9.
Joint Resolution 39, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council appointing C. Michael Hill as Lafayette City Marshal to assume the duties of the office for the remainder of the current unexpired term.
Motion and second, please. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Council discussion. I see Mr. Nakane.
I just want to thank Mike Hill for stepping up to the plate. Speaking of doing above and beyond, this is the man who's contributed so much to this area, to this community, to this parish. This is his 3rd time in service to the public. The man came out of retirement to help us out, to get us out of a bind, to organize a bad situation, to leave us better off than we were when we started. Mike, I just want to thank you so much for what you do, and I'll be honest with you, I think we owe you a round of applause for all the work you've done for us. Thank you again, sir.
I believe he's here, supposed to be here for only 6 months. I think that's what it was. And how many months you have? Come up, Mr. Mike. Come up. 6 months. I know someone's going to be happy when you finally give it up, huh?
That's right. When Judge Saloom asked me to take the slot, I promised him I'd give him 6 months, and that was 25 months ago. I will leave in 6 weeks, trying to retire for the 3rd time. My wife hopes it takes this time, and I think it probably will. But I have to say that I'll leave with very mixed emotions. I've come to care very much for the department with which I have been honored to lead, and care very much for the people who I have been honored to serve with. I cannot tell you how much I admire the men and women with whom I work. They were put under a terrible strain. I was asked to come in and take some of that strain, and what I told them was, you go continue to do what you've been doing, we're going to be fine, and they did just that. So the praise goes to them, not to me. But thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Nakane, for your kind words. Mr. Chairman, thank you, Ms. Cook.
And when, huh? I thought you was telling him something. Okay. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
Yes, we do have 2 speakers, the first of which is Kip Judice, and he will be followed by Reggie Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Council, Mayor President. You know, Mr. Nakane hit the nail on the head. This man didn't have to step up. He did. I think tonight's resolution is a testament to his work he has done. I think it's a great honor, and he won't take the credit. So I want to personally come up and tell Mr. Hill, thank you very much for having stepped up and stabilizing a situation that whoever the next marshal is going to walk into a much better situation than having to step into what he did. And so Mr. Hill's work has been absolutely nothing short of amazing. The staff loves him, and I think he'll be missed in that office. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Reggie Thomas.
this looks familiar to me. I'm Reggie Thomas, of course, 30 years of law enforcement with the Lafayette Police Department. Just here to say that also that Mike Hill, I also did interim chief, so I understand how hard it is and how tough it is to actually lead. And Mike Hill has done a wonderful job. He has accepted myself and Kip Judy's in reference to letting us know where it's at and everything is structured. So I'm excited about the job he done. And I definitely want to tell him that I think he did an excellent job, and we will continue to have the marshal's office, again, whoever elected, we will continue to have the marshal's office heading in the right direction. So I just wanted to say thanks to Mike. We are in a great place. Thank you.
Mr. Mike, one word of, I just want you to know something. If the phone rings and it's Doug Saloon, don't answer it. Don't answer it. Do not answer it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be happy to accede to that advice.
Okay. Okay, let's call for vote, please, to adopt the resolution.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 40, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council acknowledging receipt of and approving the fiscal year 2021 budget submitted by the Lafayette Airport Commission.
Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion. I see there's none. Any public comments, Ms. V? Okay, let's call for a vote to adopt the resolution.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 41, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing eligibility for disaster debris removal on publicly services, roadways, and rights-of-ways that are privately owned, privately maintained, and/or gated.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Council discussion. I see there's none. Ms. Williams, public comment.
No, sir.
Okay, let's call for a vote to adopt the resolution.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 42, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing non-warranty cash sales of those various adjudicated properties listed herein by public bid pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472201 et sec.
I need a motion and a second by Mr. Nakane and the motion by Ms. Cook. There is a proposed amendment to remove 117 Clinton Street from the property list and update the backup accordingly. I need a motion and a second from the council amendment. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Any council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, I call for a vote from the council to amend.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Jeremy's looking at me like, okay, I got it.
Yeah, we flowing, we moving.
So, first speaker is Dave Tillman,
Okay,
and he will be followed by Dave Griffin.
okay. Now, we are speaking to the amendment, correct?
No, it's not the amendment. If you want to speak to the amendment and the removal of one, okay, well,
So, okay, so Mr. Dave will speak, or are we holding him back? Okay. Okay, we'll wait. Okay, good. So I need a vote on the amendment.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Okay, now we go on to the discussion on the amendment. Yeah. Yeah, the resolution as amended.
first speaker is Dave Tillman, and he will be followed by the final speaker, Gabe Griffin.
My name is Dave Domang. I'm a resident of Freetown and a member of the Freetown Coterie. And at our last Coterie meeting, we had a presentation from planning and from one of the interested parties about this adjudication process and what's possible for the neighborhood. So I wanted to come forward and speak in support of the whole process of turning these properties back into productivity and improving them, and also to go on record expressing a sincere interest that whatever persons bid and successfully win these properties, that what they do to the properties conform to the historic nature of the Freetown Historic District. Thank you.
Final speaker, Gabe Griffin.
Hey there, Gabe Giffen, also a resident in Freetown Coterie Chair this year. Sorry to keep us from blowing and going. I know we were really moving there. Just want to kind of add to what Dave was saying. We are in support of these adjudicated properties getting flipped, as they say. We have one developer that has come and spoke to the Coterie. That was the Castle Row group. They seem to want to do some good things. We just wanted to be a little more specific as this moves forward to say we've got two properties that were contributing properties to the historic nature of what Freetown's become. I have 207 East Convent and let's see, 230 Jackson Street. We just want to ensure that those two properties in particular do maintain their historic components to the neighborhood. So some of these properties are burned out. There's nothing they're going to be able to do. Those are a little more open air for them and what they want to do as far as a flip. But those two properties, 207 East Convent, 230 Jackson, are contributing properties to what makes Freetown a historic district now. So we just wanted to kind of get that on the record as we move forward. Thank you.
No other speakers, Mr. Chair.
I have a question. Anyone here that's dealing with adjudicated properties?
Kathy Gilbert, Planning Manager. Hi, all.
My question is, I'm seeing this for the first time after hearing Mr. Dave and the gentleman speaking about bidding on adjudicated properties. I haven't really heard that before. Normally somebody just buy the property per se. But as far as a bid, that's my first time hearing someone, actually there's a bid that goes out if someone wants to purchase adjudicated properties.
Correct. Most of the properties that have gone to council have been adjoining property owners that have been taking care of the property next door. But we also have a public bid process that it's not a person next door and they would like to obtain one of these properties. So we will, in January, we'll put a notice in the paper and put it up for public bid at 75% of the value on the tax assessor value.
So if it's adjoining property to someone, say I have some, or whoever has some property, whatever is adjoined next to it, it doesn't necessarily go out to bid unless, if that person wants to purchase it. Okay.
Correct.
I just want clarification on that.
Yeah, and if I can just add
Sure.
that in the property renovation plans, we do to address the concerns of the neighborhood. We do have in both vacant and the properties with housing that they will respect the neighborhood architecture integrity. So we will be working with the developer to ensure that that happens.
Okay. That answers your question, sir? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it. Let's move along. Okay, we call it, okay, let's call for vote to the council to adopt as amended.
District 4? Yes. District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yeah.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved.
Okay. Reports and/or discussion items. Jeremy, please read item number 13.
Update on filling director positions for LUS Director, LUS Fiber Director, Police Chief, and Parks and Recreation Director.
Ms. Cook, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Without being redundant, I'm asking again the same question as I did last meeting, because I have, again, been getting calls just about what's happening with some of these things. And I just have just one quick question about the LUS. Not so much the director position, but what's happening, have we resolved anything with the Public Service Commission? I know that there was some discussion if it was an active docket or not, and I'm not sure where are we in terms of moving forward with the Public Service Commission.
Well, thank you, Ms. Cook. There's been no change since the last time we presented on this item.
And so, and that means what? As in, what's the time frame? When should we expect a change?
We don't know the time frame of the Public Service Commissioner,
Okay.
and there has been no change since the last time we reported on this.
And so we've been in contact with them, or they've been in contact with us, or?
It's not my understanding we haven't had any contact,
Okay.
any development since the last time we reported on
Okay.
this.
Okay, so I won't ask again the next meeting,
That's okay.
but I'll maybe the next meeting, so I'll keep following up with that.
You can ask any time you want.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Hope you get a different answer.
That's what I'm hoping for the next time.
I'm scared to get that answer.
Yeah, but I feel like we need,
And I'll go on record and say, I wish we didn't have to ask those questions or get those answers.
I
But
would-
no, look, you're doing a good
I
job.
would rather not ask me that. I
Yeah.
wish we could move forward and not have all these questions, but I do,
I'm with you.
I do. So again, so thank you for that, and hopefully when we do hear something, we'll get something back, so.
You got it.
Okay,
Appreciate
the
you.
next one is just the police chief, and I understand, just that time frame again, I understand that they've taken their test.
Sure.
Have we gotten the results? I know that they will.
Yes, so
Okay.
the state is still certifying. I believe 6 candidates will be eligible to receive their certification. Our police search committee is meeting next week. It is a public meeting, so please stay tuned for that. Anybody interested, you're more than welcome and encouraged to participate. Andrew Capps will be there, I can guarantee you. Right, they got the thumbs up, there we go. But I say that out of love. But I would say this, though, we wanted to make sure we did this right. I mean, we're talking about a police chief of the 4th largest city in the state. So slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's kind of the approach that we took. Then we were hit with this world pandemic that we take extremely serious. And travel during COVID-19 was restricted. We put out a national search for the first time. We received 4 candidates. Again, 4th largest city in the state. We feel like whoever did receive the job, we owe it to him or her that, hey, you need a bigger pool, or we need a bigger pool to select from than 4. So we did another national search. Still didn't get as many as we'd like, to be honest with you. But, look, I have to follow civil service rules. We did the testing. Committee's going to weed through and vet out 3 or 4 candidates for me to choose from. And I give you my word, if the candidate's not there, we're not selecting someone just to select someone. My job is to make sure we pick the biggest and the best and the brightest that is offered for the people of Lafayette. Now, that being said, again, even in a world pandemic, our interim chief was supposed to be here for 60 days. I heard that from the city marshal who's serving as interim. We're going to have to work on those calculations when we offer these interim positions. But look, Scott Morgan's done a great job. He's had a lot thrown at him. Our police department's done a fantastic job. We stand with you. And doesn't mean we can't get better, and we will get better. But I feel very confident in this process. This is not a rush-through process. So even in a world pandemic, we are taking it very serious, and we're going to get the job done.
How many of those that have passed the test are from Lafayette? I know we got several from, or some from other, out of state, but
Yeah,
do we
it's
have any from Lafayette?
My understanding, 3.
3, okay.
Is, yeah.
Okay. All right, so you'll keep us abreast on that as well as
You
we
got
move
it.
forward? Okay, and the last one is the Parks and Recs, Parks and Rec Department. Again, still looking for a director there, and Sidra's done a wonderful job at filling in, but I was wondering, do you have staff meetings regularly with them, or who do you meet with when you meet? Like, I know you do
Talking
the
to me or
commission
the
meetings.
CAO?
I'm talking to CAO, excuse me.
Okay, that's right.
You're off the hook for the moment.
No, hey, I'm responsible for her answers too.
I meet with the managers.
Of each, you have all the departments.
And I will say this though, Councilman, I will say this, I am extremely proud of the job that you and our chief of staff have done coming in on taking on over a department that was subsidized by votes of some of our council members that approved $61 million in additional subsidies to this department that the taxpayers did not vote on. And the condition that the Parks and Recs was in when you took it over was appalling, in my opinion. Now, fast forward in 3 years from now, I think you're going to be extremely happy with the product that you have. You're going to get better services. You're going to have a better product, and you're going to have a lot more fiscally responsible mindsets in that department. So I'm very proud of the direction of this department.
Okay, and please don't take my questioning as anything other than that as well. I'm just, again, trying to figure out the direction we're going, and you've been doing a great job. I guess I just want to know, again, timeframes. I mean, we've been in almost a year. Now, that department hasn't been without a director for a year because it was, Gerald Bujo recently, it wasn't that long ago that he was not in that position. But I guess, again, I'm getting calls, or I'm talking to people that within the department that are just, there's a morale issue, and it's not bad, but we're living in limbo, and we need to figure out, who our director is going to be. And we're getting there. I understand we're getting there. Please explain to me, too, this, we talked about this the other day, the program that you're doing, the technology, that the 3-on-1 department, that is going to help, again, with Parks and Rec in terms of bringing them up to the 21st century in terms of technology, is from what I understand.
Am I hot? Okay.
Yes.
So we did give a pretty detailed report on all of these director positions, not this past meeting, but the meeting before. As the mayor president said, there's no updates. As I said at that time, there was going to take time. LUS Fiber, we're recruiting, we have a recruiting firm, we're working on the contract. Once that contract is finalized, we'll have a candidate within 3 months. That remains the same. With LUS, we have a engineer of record, and as soon as they're on board, they're going to help us with the recruitment and the hire of a permanent director, and I didn't make any promises before June of 2021. That remains the same. You just got the update on the chief of police with the update, given that we do have candidates now that we're going to be certified by the Fire and Police Civil Service Board, so that's a great update. And as far as the Parks and Recreation Director, I told you we weren't looking to make any direction changes right away. We are changing the model. I don't believe we're in limbo because I've said I'm the active director. The chief of staff is working with me closely. We are changing the model of Parks and Recreation. This information comes through on these agenda items. You all have been great partners with us and taking steps towards building partnerships with our associations to better program and maintain and operate some of our parks in the parishes. You yourself led a wonderful initiative to turn over the tennis centers to the Tennis Association, and we have at least 3 other nonprofit entities that are looking to do similar things within their realm. The Swimming Association, you're aware that they want to take over the swimming. The Soccer Association, they want to take over the operations at Moore Park. There's a potential with other assets within our Parks and Recreation Department. So it doesn't make sense to me to hire a director knowing that the department is changing. We want to get the department into the new model and then look at, see what makes sense for that director. So your question to me was, can we bring in a third-party consultant, somebody who's done this before? That's what we're doing. Again, we've had these discussions at public meetings. I talked about the initiative for 10-10-10. Again, the 10-10-10 meeting or initiative is doing 10% more with 10% less over the course of 10 years. So we have a firm. You guys approved it in the budget. We're very appreciative that we are able to engage this firm. They're a global leader in helping municipalities do things like what we're doing, to come in and to identify opportunities where we're going to become more transparent. We're going to see more efficiencies. We're going to hold ourselves to greater accountability. So the great news about that is that the first department they're starting with is Parks and Rec. So some of the things they're going to come in and do are going to be, they're going to be looking at establishing baseline metrics for our department. They're going to be establishing performance and operational audits for us. They're going to be giving us suggestions for tools and processes and giving us training on that. They're going to probably recommend reorganization, which is what we're doing currently. And then what we know KPMG to do is to provide us resources to do technology and implement more technology. So there's a lot going on within Parks and Recreation, and we are doing a lot of work. You are helping us do a lot of work, and we're appreciative of that. And it's our position that we want to get the future Parks and Rec model established so we know what kind of director it makes sense to bring in. and that's where we stand.
And I'll add to that, another part of our direction is to make sure that we're spending tax dollars of the city taxpayers very wisely. This administration is committed, just like the council members are committed, to protecting the finances of the city of Lafayette. For years, previous city parish council members and previous city parish councils and administrations have approved city tax dollars funding parish parks. I think that's patently wrong. So thank you to both councils for this year's budget, voting that these city dollars stay in the city. And the parish council is working very hard to, I don't want to use the word unload, but to partner with our municipalities and other entities in the parish so that your city tax dollars off of a city millage is not going to fund operations in the parish. That's not right. If it was a parish millage, I'd feel differently. I'd feel much differently. So I appreciate the service of the councils, appreciate both councils working hard this budget to get our fiscal house in order.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a couple more questions. Can you refresh my memory? What is the fee, the consulting firm that we're using to actually do all this for the Parks and Rec? What are we paying for that again?
So it's not broken down per department, but what's the total budget that the council approved?
I don't know if I have that information, but what I can tell you is that we're expected to experience between $6 and $12 million in annual savings as a result of our partnership with them. So we're going to be going through with 3 departments this particular year. We're starting with Parks and Recreation. We will have their recommendations to us in January or February. They're next turning their attention to police, and we'll have recommendations from them on police in April and May. Thirdly, they'll be turning their attention to fire department. So we'll have recommendations in July and August. And then we've actually added a division that wasn't previously on the schedule. We're going to be looking at Parks and Recreation, vehicle maintenance. And we'll have recommendations from them probably in January of 2022. So there's 3 departments and 1 additional division that they're going to be looking at this particular year.
So we're funding by city and parish dollars to do this?
It's an IS&T budget item.
Okay. Okay. I guess that was all I had on that. I'm not going to bring this, or we're not going to talk about this anymore, I guess, but there was some discussion about consolidating departments, and I guess we're still looking at all that, and we'll wait to see what maybe the consulting firm suggests. Is that kind of where we're going with that?
I believe that would be prudent. I'm open-minded to that idea, but I'm not committed to it either. And you and I have had some discussions on this. I feel like any move to that nature would have to make sense. It would have to justify some efficiencies. With the changes that we made together in the Department of Community Development, the changes in Parks and Recreation, and the overlap between those two. For example, there are parks in community development, but not in Parks and Rec. Most of them are in Parks and Rec, but there are some in that department. There's some components in community development that maybe make more sense to be in finance, grant writing, and things like that. So we're not at a position to offer a recommendation to the council this time, but we are open-minded to anything that makes sense.
Okay, well, thank you. We have had discussions about that, and I think we're getting closer to the middle on that, so I'm okay with that as well. But thank you again. Just questioning, just trying to get some information, and we maybe have a difference of opinion in terms of, I feel like maybe if we were to bring a director in to include them in the discussion about where we want to go, but we're going a different route, so I'm going to be patient with that right now. But and I won't ask next meeting, but I might come back to the meeting after. So just a heads up.
You can always ask.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Before we move along, these gentlemen that you were calling their names out earlier, they're here now, and there's some hard workers and the LCG employees, so we like to recognize them. Chief Benoit is here, so let's bring them up front so they can get recognized for the fine job they
Stand in
did.
the front, and the mayor can come down and hand the certificate to you all.
And again, just for everyone's, just to remind you, because these guys did such a good job, it's worth saying their name again and recognizing and honor them. So Zachary Landry, Philip Glover, Keithan Broussard, Eugene Broussard, Alvin Duyon, and Cheryl Randall. So again, if we could give these gentlemen a round of applause.
stand up, it'll be easier for us to see you in the photo. Councilwoman Cook, if you can stand, we can see you better in the photo.
Come to you right a little bit.
Nobody knows.
I didn't realize I was taking pictures today. I would have worn better shoes, guys. Sorry.
I got the perfect angle, no shoes.
Gentlemen, thank y'all so much.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read item number 14.
City Ordinance 99, 2020. An ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the Unified Development Code so as to reclassify the property of Tim Bradley, case number ZON 2020-19, 150 South Beetle Road rezoning, located generally south of Kali Saloom Road, west of South Beetle Road, and north of Summerland Key Lane, the particular parcel being rezoned from residential mixed to mixed-use neighborhood.
Moved by Ms. Cook and second by Mr. Nakane. Any council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, let's call for vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. City Ordinance 100, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the Unified Development Code so as to reclassify the property of Stillwater Development, case number ZON 2020-20, East Butcher Switch Road rezoning, located generally south of East Butcher Switch Road, east of Northeast Evangeline Thruway, and north of Goldrad Drive, the particular parcel being rezoned from commercial heavy to residential single family.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's call for a vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. City Ordinance 101, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council approving a conditional use permit to allow a bar/lounge in a downtown zoning district, case number ZON 2020-21, 302 Jefferson Street, conditional use permit, located generally north of Jefferson Street, west of Vine Street, and south of South Buchanan Street.
Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion? I see there's none. Public comments, Ms. Veronica?
We did have one citizen who did not wish to speak, who signed in to support the ordinance. One speaker who wishes to speak, Brian Dupre. You don't-
Okay,
Okay.
sure. Okay, you don't. Okay,
No
thank
other
you.
speakers, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
let's call for a vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Joint ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Chairman, please read item number 17.
Joint Ordinance 88, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at public internet auction surplus miscellaneous movable property which are no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list.
Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Nanette Cook. Any council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, let's call for a vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 97, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a fiscal year 2021 cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Lafayette, the Parish of Lafayette, and the interim marshal for the City Court of Lafayette.
Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Lynette Cook. Any council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Let's call for a vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 98, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a fiscal year 2021 cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Lafayette, the Parish of Lafayette, and Keith A. Stutes, 15th Judicial District Attorney.
Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion? See there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Let's call for the vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 99, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a fiscal year 2021 cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Lafayette, the Parish of Lafayette, and the City Court of Lafayette.
Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, let's call for a vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 100, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the filing of applications for grant funding which may become available as a result of the presidential disaster declaration following Hurricane Delta.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Council discussion? See there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, let's call for a vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
District 1?
yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Appeal. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read number 22.
Appeal of City Planning Commission action, Les Jardins subdivision, Lot 45A, HE 2020-71.
Okay, I need development and planning to explain why we need to, what's going on with this appeal. Hello. From development and planning to explain.
No?
Did you send it? Taniqua sent it?
Uh-oh.
Okay, that's all right. We're good.
You good?
We're good. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'm the judge today.
No big deal. Good evening, Mary Slyman, Director of Development and Planning. Our apologies, V. I'll see what happened with that email. Tonight's appeal is for a hearing examiner in a planning commission case. It's HE 2020-71. The applicant was the Auto Spa Properties LLC, which came to the planning commission to request preliminary plat approval for the subdivision of 1.07 acres into one commercial lot at the corner of Pinhook and Mall. If you will, in your mind, think about where this is located. It's across the street from Ruth's Chris. There's a vacant strip in between Mall Street and where the old Ruth's Chris used to be located. It currently has one building which faces Mall and has a driveway on Mall. The applicant has requested a waiver for condition number 12 on their report, which states that the commercial driveways must be at least 150 feet from a public street intersection. At the Planning Commission meeting, the site plan was shown. It is the site plan dated from September. And originally, they had a one exit out of the site onto Pinhook, which was an escape drive, really, because it was only, once you were in the queue for the car wash, it was just a way to get out. It wasn't an entrance in. As a reminder, Pinhook is a state roadway, so it's not something that LCG has control over. And they were requesting full access in and out of the property on Mall. There were many residents who attended the Planning Commission meeting and expressed concerns about the length of Mall and how it is a short street, and the concerns about the cars that would potentially come into the neighborhood in order to get into the queue for the car wash. So the Planning Commission voted to approve preliminary plat without granting the waiver of the 150 feet for the driveway. In essence, they did not allow the driveway to be placed on Mall, and the applicant would have to talk with DOT about getting access on Pinhook. The applicant is now appealing that decision of the Planning Commission in light of new information, which you have the new site plan, which shows a revised entrance. They were able to get approval from DOT for a right-in to the site, and now they are looking to have an exit on Mall, and then you go through the car wash, enter through Pinhook, go through the car wash, and exit onto Mall to get to the light at Mall and Pinhook. If you have any questions of me, I'll be glad to answer them. If not, you can talk to Warren.
You said that you had a lot of feedback from the people that live around there?
Yes, we had a large contingency of people from the neighborhood who came to speak at the Planning Commission meeting.
Okay. All right, I think that's all the questions we have for now. Yeah, just when it be for council to discuss? You want to discuss now, because I'm going to be asking the council to discuss after you see it says, I need a motion in a second. We never opened it up yet. So when it's open, then you can discuss. Okay.
Anything else for me?
No, that's about it for right now. I'm going to open it up. Okay, I need a motion in a second. Motion to open it up for discussion. Okay. Okay, Paul, I need you to explain the motion, please. Yes, can I have the legal to discuss the appeal?
So the council has three choices. It could make a motion to approve the action of the City Planning Commission, which would effectively deny the appeal and uphold what the City Planning Commission decided. It could have a motion to disapprove of the action of the City Planning Commission. And its third choice is it could have a motion to modify the action of the Planning Commission. Those are your three choices.
Okay, you said the first one, yes would be what again, Paul?
The first one would be a motion to approve the action of the City Planning Commission, which would essentially or effectively deny the appeal and require them to still have meet the condition of the 150-foot distance for the driveway.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, so can we make a motion now? Okay.
It might be that
we haven't opened it up yet.
You may want to hear from the appellant first.
Okay, yes. Yeah, it's open for discussion, yeah. So I need a motion in a second, right? Okay,
All right.
okay, we need to hear from the appellant.
If the appellant is here, is
The
the
appellant
appellant
here?
here? Okay, you can
Yes.
come forward and then state your name when you approach the podium.
Paul Myers with Paul Myers Engineering. I'm here representing the developer and owner. Basically what happened, the Planning Commission approved our project but denied access to Mall Street. We were okay with that. We went to DOT, and DOT looked at the project and said because of the traffic volume on Pinhook, which at that location, roughly about 35,000 cars a day, they said that a turn-in is the best we can do for you. If you come out right there because you're coming out at a slow speed, the rear end accidents are going to end up increasing and so forth. We will not give you an exit out. You have to go out onto Mall Street or you're just not going to get a permit. We submitted a drawing to them, and they came back and said, we don't like it because when you turn in, you have access to the car wash, you have access to the vacuums and everything else, and there's a problem with stacking right there. We're not going to approve this layout. So we revised the layout, sent it back to DOT. We got an email from DOT this week that came back and said, we will approve that. So we have a layout that has a turn-in at the very end of the property, which is the old Ruth Chris building. So you can turn in right there, but we want you to kind of turn in and then have a big stacking. So we have a stacking for about 30 cars. So 30 cars before you get to the check-in, not before the wash, but for the check-in. And then once they get through the check-in, I think there's room for about another 6 cars before you actually get into the wash. So we can accommodate roughly about 25, 30 cars. The owner tells me that at full capacity, that facility can process about 50 cars an hour. So in general, we have about 30 minutes of queuing. So if you get in, you know, because one of the concerns was, well, what happens if they back up on Pinhook and cause problems? And if they're backing up on Pinhook, they're there for at least 30, 35 minutes. So the thought is that people aren't going to stay in line for 30 minutes to go through a car wash. And so we feel good about it. We feel like there's enough storage. The situation is that you come through, and I have a revised site plan, if y'all would like to see it, that shows what that design would look like. But basically what it does, and actually I have 3 different layouts. The top layout is the original layout that we submitted, and which was denied. The second one is an intermediate one that we submitted that shows the access, but if you notice, it shows access to the whole site in terms of to the wash, to the vacuums and everything else. And the third one is the one that they have approved, which has the turn-in. It has the big stacking area before the registration and pay booth, and you circle around, go through the car wash. There's an ability that if you decide you get there and you don't want to pay the bill, you can bail out and go back onto Mall Street. Or if once you get through the pay booth, if you want to go get vacuum, you can go get vacuum first. Or you can go through the wash and go to the vacuum. So it kind of gives a maximum of flexibility, but nothing that allows you to stay on Pinhook and wait there or go to something else. And then it has an exit that comes out onto Mall. DOTD says that because of the traffic volume on Pinhook, they just cannot allow an in and out. So if we don't have that approved, then basically the property becomes dead. This is not that big of a volume generator. It is more of a situation with the property, trying to put it back in commerce. We've been working with this property for about 8 years now, trying to come up with somebody to use it, and it is just not a piece of property that's very attractive because of the traffic and because of the access. And so this is a solution that this guy feels like he could, you know, make a go of it on this here. So if you have any questions, be happy to try to answer it.
Sir, did you meet with the people that live around there?
We met with them at the Planning Commission.
No, I'm asking with the people that live around the residents. Did you meet with the
Yes,
residents?
we had a meeting.
So you had a feel how they feel about that?
We had a meeting with them before we went to Planning Commission. The owner was there, we were there, the architect was there. And their basic concerns is, we don't want people coming into our subdivision, they get lost, they can't get in.
Right.
That's what they expressed the night of the meeting.
Right.
The commission came back and said, we believe in protecting the subdivision. We're not going to violate the regulation. The problem is, we could not get 160 feet from the intersection on Mall Street because we don't have 150 feet of depth. So it's impossible to get that depth on Mall Street. We could get the depth on Pinhook, but because of Pinhook being such a busy road, we said we don't think DOTD will approve it. Well, when we went back to DOTD, they said, well, if they're going to deny you access to Mall, we will approve your Pinhook access, but we're going to only approve access. You can get in, but you can never get out on Mall. The thought was that when you come out on Mall, Mall Street is wide enough for a 3-lane road, so it has a designated right turn, a designated left turn, and a designated in. So it functions different than, say, a 2-lane where you get everybody stacking. So DOTD felt like it was wide enough to do what it needed to do, and that it would function, and that's what they said. We'll give you access, but you got to come out on Mall.
But sir, my understanding, wishes are they do not want that development there. I understand.
I understand that. And the scenario is that they've talked about several things. Oh, well, you're redeveloping lots. The answer is actually, this is not redeveloping of lots. These have never been lots. These are old pieces of property that had buildings on them. code now says that you cannot come back to a piece of property that was not a subdivision and build anything. So I've got a piece of property that was old, was not used, is not quote-unquote an official lot, and so it's impossible to use this property unless you approve it as a subdivision. They don't like the use. We're technically asking just to approve it as a subdivision. The subdivision meets all the codes for the zoning issue, and it allows this to happen. If this is not approved, I can't put an ice cream place there, I can't put a coffee shop there, I can't put anything on this property because it's an illegal piece of property because it has never been a subdivision. So what the owner's asking is, can you make it a subdivision lot? He has then come forward and said, and I think I want to put a car wash here. Well, the car washes is 100% within compliance of the zoning regulation. But the issue is that even if you say, well, we're going to change the zoning and not allow it to be a car wash, I can't put anything there. I can't put a house there. I can't put a hotel there. I can't put anything because it is not a legal lot. And that's the whole issue, is that, one, we needed to create it as a lot, which is what we're asking for, re-subdivided. And then the use that we're saying is just what he has identified. This is what I want to use this property for. But they're opposed.
Let's hear from the council of that district, please. Ms. Cook?
Yes, thank you, Chairman.
I'm gonna put you on.
Paul, thank you for the information, and you know, I think it's a wonderful car wash development. I do. I think that, you know, we've seen pictures. It's a top-notch car wash. I just think, you know, given the location that we're trying to put that in, and given the fact that this neighborhood has one way in, one way out, and we're asking for a waiver that basically goes against development with a comprehensive plan that we all supported. I just don't think that it's not a good fit for that piece of property. And I know that the neighborhood does not feel comfortable with, you know, okay, so cars come in off of Pinhook, but they leave onto Mall. And that intersection, they already have trouble with that intersection from what I understand, just leaving with their regular traffic or a UPS truck or any other things like that. So, you know, the volume that we're looking at with a development like this is just, it's just going to cause more problems, I think, with that exit from that red light, from that particular intersection. So, you know, I'm asking my council members to please support me in, you know, the motion that I'm about to make, because I just don't think it's a good fit. And it's unfortunate that we got to this point with that piece of property, but and we're going to hear from some of the residents, I'm sure, and they can give you more details, give the council members more details. But having attended that meeting and hearing what they had to say, I just, you know, I don't feel like it's a good fit. And so I just don't feel like we should, you know, we should go there.
And I appreciate their situation and their thoughts. The problem is we have a piece of property that he purchased. He made a mistake. He should have never purchased it, but he did. He's paid for it. He went to staff. Staff said it's properly zoned. It meets all the requirements. We met with traffic, and traffic said, oh, the best place to put the road is on Mall. He went to the state and asked the state and said, oh, no, we're not going to give you a driveway on Pinhook. So he did all those acts before he bought the property. He bought the property. It complies with all the city ordinances. And you basically put him in a situation where he now has a piece of property that's worthless. It doesn't have access. It is not a plat, so he can't sell it to somebody as a plat. And, you know, he's now looking at the next step, which would be to take action, you know, for damages. I'm not threatening. I'm just telling you that's where we are.
Well, we're not going to penalize the people that live around there because of a mistake that was made by someone.
I fully understand that.
So.
But because of the traffic and the state saying we're not going to be forced to give this guy an in and out and they'd be responsible for the accidents, and I understand that. So I may be back next week asking you, well, can you just make this a lot so I can sell it as a lot? But the issue is unless you rezone it, somebody else is going to come back and want to try to put the same thing. So making it a non-lot makes it basically unsellable. And so you basically determine that the property is worthless, or you've condemned the property. Your ordinance says that if it's a lot, it can end up being used as this use because it's a zoning. So that's the dilemma. And he's asking me, what can I do? I said, unless we get it platted, you can't do anything with it. It is not usable. And he said, well, I spent a whole bunch of money buying it. And he said, I expect, you know, some type of revenue back. And I said, right now you can't open it up as a snow cone stand. It doesn't matter what you open it up as, it is not usable because Lafayette ordinance says unless it's platted, it cannot be used as anything. And right now it's not platted. And it's not platted not because it was never a subdivision, but because in the old days when it was developed as buildings, they were legal buildings. But when those buildings shut down and the new ordinance for the lot designation and stuff says, well, unless it got approval from the planning commission, it does not exist. So it is basically a non-existing piece of property. So that's the issue.
Yeah, I understand, but when you cannot build anything on something that's not plotted.
That's correct.
So, I mean, he purchased it, but it wasn't plotted. So if I'm purchasing something, I will make sure it's plotted before I purchase it. And, you know,
and
so,
that's
and
what-
again,
and
I'm not,
that's what this application is.
Again, we're not going to penalize, well, at least I will not penalize the resident and live there for something they do not want because the gentleman bought something that wasn't plotted. I mean, I'm a support Ms. Cook, you know, her process, what she wants to do, I will support her. I can't support the development that gentleman want to do.
And it's unfortunate that we're in this scenario. For his sake, I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
But,
I understand.
and I don't think the neighborhood is opposed to some type of development going there. I mean, I think it's a piece of property that they want to see back in commerce as well. But I'm hoping that maybe, you know, through rezoning, we can, you know, make some corrections there, I'm hoping, and then there is something there that would fit better and not cause an issue with their neighborhood. So, again, it's unfortunate that we got into this situation, but I just don't feel comfortable. I don't think, you know, we should be supporting a change like that. So I don't
Okay.
know if this is the time. Oh, wait, does anybody else?
Andy wants to
Okay.
say something.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nakane, go ahead. Hold it, make it hot.
Just a quick question. The proposals that were just given by Mr. Myers, none of these were presented to the commission, the zoning commission, were they? As far as the egress only on Mall, the entrance on
The
Pinhill.
planning commission only saw the preliminary site that was dated
Right.
September.
So there really actually was no discussion on these new site plans that they showed us with the egress only on Mall, the entrance on Pinhook. None of that was ever discussed.
Correct. That came out of Paul Myers'
So
work
we
with
really
DOT.
haven't even had discussion from the residents
Oh, but we have.
in Mouton Gardens on the new plats, so on the new drawings, the new site plans.
It was discussed at the meeting. I mean, all different scenarios were discussed. So I think they're aware of all the possibilities that could have happened.
Yeah,
So this
and-
is not a surprise.
Correct. What I was alluding to was the fact that the discussion in the zoning meeting, from what I understood, was an entrance on Mall, not just an egress only.
I was an in and out on Mall originally.
Yeah, and the egress only, I think, has some possibilities, but I am not necessarily supporting this tonight because there hasn't been discussion. The residents haven't had a chance to weigh in on this, and that, I feel, is unfair to them in that regard. So I would have to support you, Ms. Cook, definitely. I would just recommend that it goes back to the zoning commission with this new site plan and the egress to Mall, and let the residents weigh in on it and see if they could accept something like that, or
Can we just have a show of hands? Or they?
You know?
I think the discussion was had at the meeting. I mean, every scenario was put out, and I think the thought process was that DOTD would never even let them do this. And then kudos to Mr. Myers that he was able to get something from Pinhook. Now, I mean, maybe, you know, if you go back in there smiling again, maybe they'll give you both in and out off of Pinhook. But, you know, all that was discussed at the original meeting, I think. So I think the residents have thought of every case scenario, and still, at the end of the day, in or out at Mall Street is just not a good idea.
As far as an entrance on Mall, I couldn't see that.
Yeah.
You know? As far as an egress, everybody's moving, and the people on Mall have the right of way. So the people in the car wash are going to have to wait for the people on Mall.
Yeah, but if there's nobody at the light at the time, and the cars come out from the parking lot, and residents start piling up because there's cars parking at the light, then you have an issue. So it's not a long stack area either, so.
It isn't.
I-
And
I-
and
yeah.
I've been in and out of there many times, just in my business and my travels, both younger and older.
I mean, it's unfortunate that, again, because again, we all agree, it's a beautiful development. It just does not work on that piece of property,
Right.
coming in and out right there at Mall.
Well, I'm supporting you tonight on your
Amendment.
amendment to the appeal, you know.
Can we call Warren up? Where's Warren? He knew I was going to ask him up. He was slouching down in his chair just so I wouldn't call him up.
I just like to look for solutions.
Yeah, well, and trust me, the scenarios and everything, they've talked about it.
So Warren Abity, the Director of Traffic, Roads, and Bridges.
Enlighten us.
Okay, so I guess I'll go with the long story as I know it. There was quite a bit of discussion at the Planning Commission meeting. There's no doubt that we didn't know whether DOTD was going to give them an access on Pinhook. I don't think anybody knew. It is against DOTD's policy to give them an access on a main road if they could have access from a side street. So it's my understanding from Paul Myers that DOTD gave them an in only and still required the exit on Mall. So going back to the traffic engineering, the reason why the code says that you can't have a driveway within 150 feet is because any driveway within the operational area of the intersection has an effect, right? People let other people go, and if you're at the back of the line, you know, Good Samaritans unfortunately ruin traffic operations all the time, and so there is an effect there. Now, you know, staff's trying to be as reasonable as possible. Is it better to have the exit on Mall than it would be on Pinhook, being that Mall is low volume and Pinhook's high volume? Yeah, I could see that, right? And so I believe when the Planning Commission voted, they decided that no driveway was going to be on Mall, and obviously it doesn't work for their development, so then they appealed to y'all. So
So the
I hope I
commission
answered your
voted
question.
no in or out on Mall, period.
Yeah, so the
Okay, that's
UDCs,
what it wasn't clear to me. That's what I needed to understand.
there was an extensive discussion that night at the Planning Commission.
Okay.
There was no absolutes about what DOTD would do because nobody knew.
Yeah, and I can understand that, you know.
But the bottom line, you're right, Andy, is that the UDC says no driveways 150 feet from an intersection.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that's what they upheld. So that's
For
an
safety.
entrance or an exit
Yeah.
driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's safety. Okay.
And I think we should support that,
Oh,
so.
definitely. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Thank you, Warren.
Okay, no more discussion on
Can
that.
I make a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to make a motion. Let me put my,
So-
wait, I didn't make it yet.
Make a motion to
Hold on. I put my glasses on. I'd like to make a motion to approve the action of the City Planning Commission to deny the appeal.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion by Ms. Cook. Say your motion again. And a second by Mr. Nakane.
Let me
That's
say
it.
again.
That's
To
good.
deny the appeal.
To deny the
Deny the
appeal.
appeal.
To deny the appeal.
Or actually, it's to support the, yeah, to deny the appeal, yes.
Yeah, to support to deny the appeal.
Support the Planning Commission to deny the appeal.
We can move to
Okay,
speakers.
let's move to, I can't put on my second
Speakers.
eye. Okay, let's move to vote on the appeal from Ms. Cook.
We'll move to public comment.
Oh, public comments,
And we
I'm sorry.
have 10 speakers
Public
listed.
comments.
The first of which, and if you prefer not to speak and want to pass, just say pass,
Not-
or
not-
you could come up to the podium.
So that with the public comments on, just public comments or on Ms. Cook,
Yes, just on this.
on her motion? Or just a public comment in general?
It's on the appeal.
On the appeal. Okay, anyone that wish to make a comment on the appeal?
Right.
You know which way we going. Y'all want to make a comment on that? All right.
First speaker, Charles Foray, followed by Mike LeBlanc. Charles Foray.
Again, you don't have to speak, but if y'all want to, y'all can. Y'all know how we going.
You want to know what the neighborhood believes, but we have to, I think Ms. Cook has already told us.
Right,
Right.
right.
And we do not agree with much of what was said.
Yes, yes. Okay, sounds great. All right. Go, there's the-
Mike LeBlanc? Pass.
Please, go ahead on.
It's about the whole
Y'all
auditorium.
a good bit. Y'all a
Good
good bit.
job.
Thank y'all for showing up. Appreciate that.
Okay, Mary Tutwiler? Pass. William Finley? And he has handouts, but he only has 3. And, but I'll give them to you since we're
Just
only
3?
3. Usually I'll keep them so I can make copies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Am I up? Okay. William Finley, I'm a resident of the subdivision. The only comments I need to make at this point, I think, is to see that you guys got the handouts that I have. One of the important displays there is the outline of the area. There's 120 lots, 100 plus or minus families that live in this neighborhood, and that is, Mall Street is our only entrance and exit to the subdivision. Looking at some of the information on one or more of the slides, you can see that we have a bottleneck at that light to get in and out of the subdivision. There's upwards of 1,000 passes through that intersection a day from the residents alone. Our expectation is that a car wash at a 50 car per hour is going to double that. So whatever the traffic on Pinhook is, when you double the traffic for those residents in that subdivision, we're putting an awful lot of people at potential risk, not to mention the inconvenience. So if you could look at those displays, I think that it'll be pretty much self-explanatory. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Marilyn Smith. And she will be followed by Felix Spazzali. Your pass? Oh, thank you. And we're alternating microphones so they can clean them.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Smith. I want to just thank you all for listening and giving good consideration to the residents and the quality of our life in our neighborhood. That we are a historic neighborhood with a lot of value, I think intrinsic, both aesthetically and as well as historically. We're on the Azalea Trail. And I wanted to just point out, in addition to the traffic congestion and the issues connected with the high rate of traffic on Pinhook, that we have a lot of pedestrian, bicycle, strollers, all kinds of traffic in that, going at that intersection, crossing Pinhook, going to the university, to the oil center. My husband teaches at the university. We've lived there almost 30 years. And every day he's going back and forth. I go to Pinhook with my dog in the morning a lot of times. My son now in graduate school, he's living at home due to the oil industry bust, and he's also walking to school some days, bicycling. It's very dangerous to try to cross Pinhook as it is. Because a lot of the cars will not observe the pedestrian crossings, when they push it. So the increase would be really potentially catastrophic, I think, for that intersection. I just want to reiterate and thank you all for being mindful of the impact on all of us. And I applaud you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pass.
I hate to pass on that excellent statement of my team.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So he passes. Jan Swift.
I appreciate that.
I'm with you on that, sir.
Pass. David Begnaud.
David Begnaud.
And he will be followed by John Swift.
I'll pass. I just want to support and thank Councilmember Cook for a motion and the rest of the council for supporting that.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Council. David Begnaud, resident of Les Jardins. I just wanted to bring up one thing. They keep mentioning right turn only. And if you ride around Lafayette, specifically where there's a Walgreens or a CVS, you notice how they're putting right turn only to leave the parking lots. And you see every day people turning in to the right turn only lanes, and it stacks up the traffic on Pinhook by Kali Saloon and between Albertsons and Johnson. You always see people trying to sneak in through a out right turn. And so I have a feeling this will come back, and that's just one potential problem. And they mentioned the turning lane to get onto Pinhook. What they didn't mention, it only holds about 2 cars. You get 3 cars in there, and you're in that right-hand turning lane. So it's a very, very short, it's a unique situation, and it's one place where the 150-foot rule really needs to stick. Thank you so much.
You're right, David.
And then the final speaker was Mr. Paul Myers, but he already spoke on it.
Oh, really?
So we can go, Mr. Chair, to the motion that's on the floor
Okay.
to approve the action of the City Planning Commission.
Yeah, let's vote on the motion by Ms. Cook. Let's vote on that.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to approve the action of the City Planning Commission and deny the appeal is approved.
Okay. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you. Thank you. Move on. Okay, introductory ordinance. I need a motion and a second to introduce in global items 23 through 26. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Andy Nakane. Jeremy, please read these introductory ordinance, please.
City Ordinance 103, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $32,721 received from the U.S. Department of Justice for a 2020 Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant and appropriating within the Lafayette Police Department. City Ordinance 104, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $19,180.25 received from the Federal Bureau of Investigation and appropriating within the Lafayette Police Department. City Ordinance 105, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $154,560 received from the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission and appropriating within the Lafayette Police Department. City Ordinance 106, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and the Acadiana Center for the Arts Incorporated for the selection, design, and installment of public art on certain traffic signal and electrical cabinets.
Any council discussion? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Let's call for the vote to introduce in global items 23 through 26.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4? Yes. Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Joint introductory ordinance. I need a motion and a second to introduce in global items 28 through 30. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Jeremy, please read these introductory ordinance.
Joint Ordinance 101, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council adjusting the fiscal year 2021 manning tables and amending the operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing the use of City General Fund prior year fund balance in the amount of $35,646 to reinstate a clerk 2 position within the Communications 311 section of the CAO Administration Division that was inadvertently deleted from the fiscal year 2021 budget. Joint Ordinance 102, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and the City of Scott concerning the cleaning of Coulee Ildecan Lateral 8. Joint Ordinance 103, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council adjusting the manning tables and amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by adding 1 maintenance worker to the Lafayette Science Museum Division of the Community Development Department.
Okay, any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Call for the vote to introduce in global items 28 through 30.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Okay, let's move on. Comments from the public. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
We do have one speaker signed in.
Okay. This is time to speak about topics relative to the city of Lafayette that are not included as agenda items. No debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. For efficiency and to allow anyone the opportunity to speak, questions should be submitted in writing to the clerk of the council. the 3-minute rule will be in effect. Ms. Williams, call for the comment, please.
The speaker is Kip Judice.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, and I will not be confrontational or anything of that at this point in
And you
my
have 3
juncture.
minutes.
You got it. You got it.
3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Kip Judice. I am a candidate for Lafayette City Marshal. I am here today to ask for your support and to inform you of my platform. A platform I believe will play into each of our common goals of saving taxpayers' money. I would like to, first of all, implement a text alert plan to remind people about impending court dates. I think this will reduce the number of people who fail to show up in court. In fact, I just read a study this morning which indicates in some jurisdictions up to 51% of reduction of people not showing up in court. That means 51% less people being incarcerated for failing to appear in court. Even if they don't, I have Plan 2. I would like to ask the judges to implement a community service rule as opposed to incarceration. In Lafayette City Court, the marshal deals with people who commit traffic violations and misdemeanor offenses. This is not what incarcerated people should be incarcerated for. This is not what our jails are intended to do. I think that we save some money. We start looking at better ways of doing things. Alternative to incarceration, I would suggest that the judge allow me to put them doing community service projects, whether that's picking up trash, mowing grass, working with the United Way or other nonprofits, to make sure that they are paying a debt. And at the end of that 4 or 8 hour community service, we serve them with their next court date. And I think it's very unlikely that they'll miss another court date. So those are the two top issues I want to deal with. The third, I think, is equally important to this council, and that is an open checkbook. We know that public trust has been tampered with regards to the marshal's office. I want to reinstate that. I want to show the people that where we're spending our money, where our revenue's coming from, and how we can do a better job. So those are my hot topics. There are many other things we want to talk about moving forward as your marshal, and I intend on working with each of you elected in your districts to make sure your constituents are getting the service they deserve, because I think it's a big deal. So I respectfully ask that you consider me on December the 5th as your next city marshal, and I certainly look forward to working with each one of you in the future going forward. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Adjourn the regular city council meeting. Bye-bye. Thank you. That's it. That's it.